Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2010 All-Star Pregame show for the Caputo Complex Wiffle Ball. We have a lot of topics to talk about, so let's get started right away. First of all, to my left, Steven Gethard, National League Cardinals manager. How you doing, Steven, today?
Very good. How about you?
To my right, Orioles manager, also the manager of the American League, Joe Caputo. Okay, guys, we're going to get started right away. We just have some topics here listed, some very hot topics. First of all, of course, the Chicago Cubs, no wins, 8 losses. Joe Caputo hasn't won a game since July of 2008. Please comment on this.
Well, it's funny actually because I got an email from one of the National Wiffle League Association columnists the other day asking me to write a story on the Chicago Cubs this year. So make sure you check that out, nwla.com. But let's just get to the Cubs real quick. It's basically been the pitching. The late game pitching has been horrendous. Cal Seabour at one point this year lost 4 consecutive games that he went into the 8th inning leading in. That's not acceptable. And they're really not a bad team. They could hit. Cal Seabour's up over 470 for the year. He's up there in RBIs. So, I mean, the hitting's not the problem. It's just closing out games. They haven't been able to find the right formula. And unfortunately, one more loss will knock them out of contention.
Now, any suggestions of the maybe format that the Cubs should use in the second half of the season?
It's interesting because Cal Seabour tried to use Vin Stanziola. I don't think he did it in the right way. Obviously, he had the one game that Cal Seabour showed up late and everything was all messed up. But Cal Seabour has put Stanziola into the game too late after he's already blown the game, as opposed to Vin Stanziola trying to save the game. So I think that's where he has to change things up.
Okay, Steven Gethard, any comments on the Chicago Cubs this year, first half of this year?
They're really not a bad team. They're just, as of right now, an unfortunate team. They just haven't been able to finish the games. They've scored quite a few runs, and Cal Seabour just got to get his head in the game in the 8th and the 9th inning and just finish them off.
Okay, next topic will be the St. Louis Cardinals. They've won 4 of their last 5. Now, funny about this, Joe, everyone picked them to only win about 1 or 2 games this year. So, what do you have to say?
I thought their
about
only
this?
wins were going to be against the Cubs this year, but they've definitely been a pleasant surprise to the National League. I like it because we didn't want the Pirates to have a cakewalk to the championship. So it's going to be nice to see some competition in the National League. Steven Gethard, maybe one of the most impressive performances in history. 26 straight scoreless innings, and you know, I mean, we haven't seen this dominance since Cal Seabour in 2008. But I mean, it's a big difference because Gethard features 4 or 5 pitches while Seabour really only had 1.
Okay, could you explain what makes Gethard so hard to hit?
He does a great job mixing up his pitches, and for the most part, similar arm angles. So you can't really pick up what he's throwing until you actually see the ball in the air, and by that time, it's usually too late. That's probably why he's leading the league in strikeouts.
Okay, now Steve, moving on. Your recent sign of Mario Manella. Please tell me the purpose of this and what will he do in the second half of the season for your team?
Well, we wanted a 4th guy. We were bringing 4 guys to almost every game, and we feel like Mario's the guy we need right now to be our 4th guy. He's a big hitter. That's where we lack our offense, so he'll definitely help us there. You saw the other game the other day. He had some really good defense going on. He made some great plays, and he's just a good guy to have on your team. He really boosts the morale of your team altogether.
Absolutely. Joe, comments on Mario Manella.
Mario, I have to admit, I was considering signing him before the Cardinals did. I wanted to see how he'd play, and I never got the chance for him to play for me. And turns out, first game he plays is against me, and he beats me. So, I mean, you gotta like what you see. I mean, he might be that one piece that they were missing at the beginning of the season that they have now.
Okay, Joe, I'm going to stay with you on this topic here. Play of Randy Berman. He was drafted 5th overall by Richie Ricciardi, and he's leading in the National League in home runs. And of course, he's just, again, a front runner for that Golden Hand Award outfielder.
Yep.
Joe, Randy Berman.
It's amazing. I mean, Randy Berman started last year. I think he struck out 12 times in his first game last year. He's come a long way, but I mean, he's been the main source of power for the Pirates this year. You'll see him later on in the All-Star game. You know, Randy Berman, it's amazing that he was drafted 5th. you can make a case for him to go in any of the other picks that were picked above
Definitely
him.
been outproducing each one.
Yeah, I think he's probably been the best player that has been drafted in this 2010 season. So, I mean, it's amazing just to see. And the Pirates need it, and he's been carrying the offense pretty much. I mean, it's amazing because you have Ricciardi, but I mean, Berman's been the guy.
Steven, any comments on Randy Berman?
He's a great player, and he's actually my pick to win the home run derby today. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Oh, let's get to that later, Steve. That's down here on the list.
All right, next topic are about the Minnesota Twins. Okay, now, Twins, they've come behind this year in some of their games. Tyler Haynes,
he's Tyler Haynes this year. His mind, you don't know where it is half the time. I mean, he'll show up late to a game, but then in the 9th inning he'll tie it with a 3-run home. I mean, it's just so weird. If he put his full heart into this, the Twins would probably be the best team in this league. But you gotta question where his mind's at, and I mean, I think they are trying to find their identity right now. I think talent-wise they are championship caliber, but we'll see.
Let's talk about Connor Egan now. Steven, I'm sure you've seen a lot of improvement in Connor Egan from last year to this year.
Yeah. Connor's also a very good player. He puts the ball in play a lot, and even from spring training until now, he's definitely improved. He's a big part of that Twins team.
Okay. Steve, I'm going to stay with you on this one. The Orioles have been struggling as of late. What do you think they need to address? Do you think they should sign someone hitting? Going out Justin Davidson? I mean, I don't like him in the starting role very much. What do you think?
Offensively, they do have a good team. Joe Caputo is one of the best, most consistent hitters in this league. They need Tyler and Justin to step up at the plate a little bit. But most importantly, it's their pitching right now. You need Joe and Justin got to get something figured out. Who's pitching when, who's starting, who's closing. You got the all-time saves leader on that team. I mean, there's no excuse to not be winning these games for them.
Okay. Now moving on, the Rangers, managed by Vinny Caputo. Now I did not get a chance to face the Rangers. I was very upset. I was actually hoping that we could get a win against the Rangers because I don't think very much of them. Joe, what do you think of your brother's team?
The Rangers, I mean, it is a bounce back year for Vinny Caputo. He did struggle last year. He's getting his pitching act together this year, and obviously John Shulman has been a very pleasant surprise. I mean, Vinny Caputo kind of signed him out of desperation back in May because his two guys were injured. Now they come back, but
John Shulman's pleasant surprise this year.
He's definitely fitting into a nice role, and he's another one that's maybe a leading candidate for Golden Hand this year.
Okay. All right, now we're going to move on to playoff predictions. The National League is pretty much set. But now for the American League, Steven, do you have anything to say about the American League?
It's going to be
Rangers.
Twins, Orioles. I think the Rangers are going to fall apart towards the second half of the season. I think
that would be
the
my
Orioles,
prediction as well.
The Orioles are going to get their team together and they're going to take the Rangers down.
Okay, Joe?
You know, I'm going to look forward to watching the Pirates and Cardinals, and obviously right now I can't really say that the Cubs are going to make it. I hope they do win a game, but for now, Cardinals, Pirates, and I do think